Testing. Testing. Okay. I think I figured it out. Start that. I can get rid of that. So, hello, it's been a while. So let me get rid of. Here is where I've been looking at, I guess, just Bible stuff in general. So what we've had at some point is on the website. First, I was saying we had started off with, we started off using this, and we've actually been using this website on the Supernatural Bible Changes website for years. I can probably hit the try button. Instant online demo. So yeah, open link in new panel. Okay, not now. So this is kind of similar to I guess what I had. So this is kind of what the panel looked like for Kirby. I guess it was pretty nice. It's I mean, yeah, it's a paid product though, because it's how much did they charge though again? Let me go back and check. Yeah, Kirby. This it cost at least for a license for that one, $89 for a license, and I think it's a 3-year license. 3 years of full updates. But I still don't know why. There's something about this that I don't like. It's not so much, I guess it's not so much the paid themes. Maybe it is. But I mean, it is somewhat nice, I guess. Let me go back to themes. I need to get out of that. So resources, themes. So I think where is it? I've bought this one before, I think. I'm not sure how much I cared about it though. There's always something about you know, I had to check out. I'm always into trying to figure out blocks for remind me to look at the actual block features. I need to figure out more because trying to figure out combinations for so I mean, obviously I'm not going to take the code because that's obviously theft, but I can Vibecode with Gemini by describing what I want. And I think I've tried this one, but if you notice, this one is more somewhat what that looks like. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of edits I've actually made with this website though. It still doesn't look right though. Because this one, I've got plans for this. This is gonna look good, I think. We just haven't gotten there. I mean, I've got a lot of plans for this section. I have not made a block that shows the latest verses, but yeah, we'll get to that. So this, I think I need to there's a lot of this stuff that I need to because, well, this one, this post is about a year old though. How wild is that? I think I got burnt out myself. And our we had a blogger that she made posts with at least certain, and I think part of hers was related to getting into the last season stuff. So then there's this. Maybe it's I don't have that yet. I love that. Put the slider for text with. We'll figure that out. That kind of, some of this stuff changed with the, but so I figured out some of this I figured out, some of it I still don't know. I do not have the alternating text figured out. It's not going to be the same. I know the code behind it. I've dealt with it. But I don't really want to implement it. The loading, it sucks. I do kind of like the alternating text, but the thing is that I can use cards. I can use cards for this. You'll see eventually. So the quiz, does the quiz still work? Let's check it out. Consider the sparrow, because it's not a raven. That's a Bible change. So next. For when I am weak, then he is strong. It's not about us, it's about God. You should know that. And I don't even know what this little timer thing's for. It doesn't make any sense. So, for when two or more gathered in my name, I am there. So I think the question for that one is if there are more than 3 people, then does God leave? So it makes sense that 2 or more, you know? So this is from Luke 19:27. Bring them here and blank them. Well, I have a big problem with this verse because I don't remember it being like this. There's a lot of people that have a memory of this saying, "Show them before me." My recall of this verse is actually more along the lines of cast them out where they're in, cast them out into utter darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth, because the language like that is, you know, if you don't want to be with God, then you're not going to be in His kingdom. You know what I mean? But for this one, so this one, my people perish for lack of knowledge, not destroyed. So who threw down the staff? Was it Aaron or was it Moses? Okay, who was it? The lion that lay down with the lamb, or was it the wolf dwelling with the lamb? He's such a poser, looking all innocent, and I like that one. So, lion and lay. Angel of death or the destroyer when for Passover? The angel of death, of course. Pride goeth before a fall or destruction? Fall, obviously. Who cut off Samson's hair? Was it a man? Or was it Delilah? That is a cute. I think there was something about the design. I'll probably show. So you got 10 out of 10 correct. We remember, at least on this one, it remembers the old way, not how it is now. Okay, so number 1, consider the sparrow, for they neither sparrow is the correct here, but according to our Bibles today, the correct answer is raven. So you can look in Luke 12:24, and it will actually say raven instead of sparrow. So yeah, in the KJV for when I am weak, then He is strong. If you look in 2 Corinthians 12:10, in the KJV, you will see, for when I am weak, then I am strong. So that is wrong too. And we're not talking about digital Bibles here. We're talking about your physical Bible here. Say you're in your 30s or 40s or 50s, and you've had an old KJV, original like KJV Bible that you've had sitting on your shelf since you were like a teenager, or since you were 8 or something. You can pull that Bible out off of your shelf, your physical old Bible on a dusty shelf, because I don't know how long ago you read it or not, and yeah, it's going to say like in Matthew 18:20 here with for when two, or your KJV is going to say when 2 or 3 are gathered together, when it should say more. Well, anyways, here's the rest of the verses. We kind of just went over the quiz. I was making sure it worked. I'm going to have to figure that one out later. So we got the voice of the remnant here with the audio that has the same issue as the other time. Currently it has to be refreshed, and even then when you'll play it,
but I believe,
yeah, it's showing stuff from It's still somewhat old. It really needs to be updated. I do have, remember years ago, well, I mean, she had, EYA had like 900 or so videos. Over 900. I do actually have a lot of that old stuff in audio. I was somehow able to figure out the messed up hard drive I had it on, and I was able to save those files. So I have something planned on this one too, but I can show you that. So these are old testimonies. I've also got I've got a snippet thing filled up for this so that we can actually something better than this. I think it's not, the page isn't completely up. It's not really, what is, I forgot what streams was. I don't remember. There's a lot of stuff I don't remember on some of this stuff. Here's an old thing that I made that I was trying to figure it out. I still did, yeah, it's, because I have an editor, well, not editor, I have a online friend. He's currently hosting the website. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing with this. It gets complicated. This website is, well, I mean, at least these are flat files. So going away from that, so we were on Get Kirby. So then we were looking at this because it's like the free version of, it's an alternative to Get Kirby, but this one's similar style. It uses more or less like twig templates instead of like PHP. I mean, they both run off of it, but the templates are slightly different with how they're structured. And some of this is kind of questionable, I guess. Fast, extensionable. It's debatable. It depends on what you're trying to do. Of course, there are many plugins. So you go to plugins, and yeah, there's comments, terms, SEO. I like it in a way, and another way I don't. I spent a lot of time trying to figure that out. I need more coffee. I spent a lot of time trying to figure it out. I didn't really get anywhere. I got upset a lot with it. It was I'm not sure how to say it. The templating on it, it took a while to figure it out, but it still worked in a way. There's also I think the main issue with it is trying to figure out what you actually want to do with it yourself, because there's a lot of things that because you're always trying to shoehorn your own content into a website a certain way, and it's never going to fit exactly right. So you need to actually have the right tool to do what you want it to do. And I think for the longest time, Kirby CMS did that. And so I've gotten to the point where I think I rejected both. I don't know why I'm trying to explain all this. So let me see where we're at. So right now we are on Wagtail CMS. It is a Python-based CMS built on top of Django or Django. I don't know how it's pronounced. It's kind of interesting. I haven't figured out like all the styling, but yeah, it's the blocking is somewhat the same, but also different. I'll kind of show you what I got so far. My styling, I have not done the okay, so right now, so I'm gonna refresh the page right now. Here's the I guess here's the basic home page. I just don't have the styling. So eventually we're going to use UI kit. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna end up plugging that in. Let me go to layout examples. So picture it more like having the actual, well, let me go to, because this is using UI kit, but the stupid paneling is messed up. See, I already have the design figured out to where it's not all squished up, but here's UI kit with the top, here's our icon, here's the bar, and then you click that, and then that's the pull out. So I know how that works. So UI kit is how that's structured. So instead of showing all this and all, right now we have the flat here. So where I have the logo, this right here would have this right here. So that's just like a placeholder. And then we have our menu. But so I have let me go into the editor for this. Okay, so I have the first thing I wanted to work on was getting our block, and the ones I actually figured out I've got actually set up is I have a audio. I made an audio block that'll, you know, we can stream an audio station for like our the Voice of the Remnant channel. So that's our audio block. So I also imported the KJV Bible into the database so I can get the Bible verse. So see right here, I'm here's the Bible book, Genesis 1:1, and if I go to the live version, there's that. Now when I say imported into here, it's more than just that. So if I go here to snippets and Bible verses, When I actually get more into some of these streams, I can actually go in and yeah. So there is 623 pages with was it over? It's like 31,000 verses. So I can go. For some reason I couldn't figure out this thing right here with my code, with any code really, because you have to you honestly have. I didn't want to mess with admin. You have to override the admin panel and do a lot of other funky stuff to actually get the search bar to do things. But I can search the scripture. So if I put in the beginning, God, or I don't like typing this. Greatest of these. See, and now by faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. Yeah, see, apparently that one has that. So I can go back, say if I have commentary, and my commentary says heaven, it will search my comments. So I can search tags by heaven, and it will go by my tag. I can also do, and this is when I start to do work with other stuff. So I can say I'm working on Matthew chapter 2. And so now here are the verses for 23 matches for chapter 22. 23. Let me double check. I will. So, Matthew chapter 2. Just make sure I didn't mess this up. Matthew 2. King James Bible. 23 verses. I don't know about that. He will be called a Nazarene, but yeah, 23. And oh, it's also interesting on how you end up having to import stuff like that. But yeah, so I can put the verse in for blog posts, and then not only can I work on editing the files in the back end, I can do that, and for a blog post later on, when I set that up, it puts the verse in there with the card with my memory in it of how it was, and I completely love that. So I made the card, HTML card. It's not based off a UI kit either, but that's interesting. here's our banner. Grams Gold made that banner. Just so yeah, she gets full credit. This was just a test. So this obviously isn't just gonna have that. It's gonna have other stuff. I was just testing to make sure that what is that actually called? My site blocks. It is actually called a let's see, it is call to action. Call to action. So it's those things, at least from what I heard. You have your title, you have your explanation, and it's like, hey, do something. But here's our voice of the remnant. That's kind of like the other one, you know, when you loaded up the page, and that one didn't load until the second time. But this one, since we're not going to be using the same JavaScript, this one will load the first time. It should. But you still just have to hit play, I think.
We're on like so.
Yeah. So that we don't really need that. So here's the gallery. It's going to be better with the UI kit. And I was just testing the H2 heading right there. The regular text, rich text. I didn't really type much there. So then we have another, I don't know if that's a header, but it has the title and subheading intro. This one I just embedded. I was embedding a video just to test it out. That's one of EUI's videos. The reason why it's that small, it's more or less, I think, because it doesn't have any. It doesn't have much attached to it as far as styling or anything. So right now when that one loads, right now it's loading this for like div class video wrapper. Here's the YouTube embed. So we're embedding the video, but it's not actually styling it. It's not a proper embed, at least not for showing a video that displays properly in your browser. That's why it's like tiny. So okay, let me get out of that. So you've seen showed you that one. We've seen the snippets. I'm thrilled that actually worked out. How do you import Bible verses? So part of it was Vibecoding, because I asked Google Gemini to help me figure out because you have to get the same exact structure. So let me go into my download. So here is Vibecode master. So books.json right here. This is the format of it, of how it's laid out. So I had to show it. I had to attach this one partially to show ChatGPT, well, not ChatGPT, but Gemini, the structure of it. And then the other one, I think I already deleted those though. And then we had, yeah. I guess when I did when I used RM in the terminal for deleting, it actually completely. Let me get that out. I'm just going to extract another one. So it is master, the master one, Vibecode master. Extract here. So when you look at it, all the Bible verses that I imported, they were in JSON format. So like Genesis. So it's structured. Man. Hey. Let me. This is a little irritating. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to automatic scene switcher because this is not wanting to. Okay, so here. Verse. It's where? No file. Quit. Open with Genie. View. Let me go back into OBS. Genie. Yeah, so it me do that. So now tools, automatic scene switcher. I'll turn that back on. Okay, so yeah, the books are in a certain format. So here's the book, and then Genesis, and then chapter. Then chapter 1, and then it goes from, so it's structured. So verse 1 right there, then verse 2. So it's pretty easy. It's structured. So when you have something like that, you put them all in one location, and you can do something like here's my Bible, then management commands, then you put them all in one place, then you do something like this. So you import the file, and here's where they're in order from Genesis to, well, it should be Revelations. S. It's an S. Should be said that I do see that. Luckily, I think Psalms skipped the S too, but it has order right there, and then it loads it, and then it puts it in proper order. Which is kind of awesome. I love it. And that is how I got the Bible imported, mass imported into the database without having to copy over verse by verse, which would have been insane. That and you reasonably want to have them all separated in the database so you can find what you need and work on it later. So I think it can logically, I guess, be said that that with this and this, that I've had much more luck with getting all this stuff added. So here it says modular research card, but it's just a basic card, like a card that usually has a header, a body, and a footer. But the problem I ended up having is that by design, people who do cards, you never know if they're going to put an image in the center of it, if the header has text in it. Sometimes the header doesn't have text in it and they use it for something else. I don't know. So with a block, you make it modular. So with the header, the body, and the footer of the little box image, there's your header. Here's your body. There's a footer. And these are all blocks where you can mix and match whatever blocks in whatever section you want. So, and that made logical sense to me. There's the call to action. And then the code snippet was this, which is also awesome. And at one point, this is actually showing how I imported how the home pages, like the main pages right now currently work. You import the fields from that you're actually using in the Python, and then here are the blueprints for some of the blocks. Like here's the code for the block that does this there, and then the home page and the stream field are the block itself that it's loading right here with HTML and all. And then our panels here to help with loading the proper stuff in the back end. The back end being this mess right here. So I have the cover section. That's a cover is the image with the text over the top of it. This, because I wanted to make sure I got that, like our Supernatural Bible Changes website has, which that's going to change again with the UI kit. Image gallery, that's just currently that's just the little images side by side. Right here. I think I might end up doing that offline later. I'm just kind of discussing it. I'm reviewing stuff. Grid columns. That's an interesting one. So since everything is block based, so you have like your Bible verse right here. So if you look at where is that? Right here. So this one, you can use a grid to like have columns. So if you cut this in half right here, then you have 50% of the page on the left side for a block, and 50 on this side is a block. And if you want 30 side by side, then you have 3 different blocks. And so that's what that whole block is for. Which I thought that was awesome. And a standard heading. Your hero section. I think that's the the title. Yeah. Then you have just your regular input. Line divider does just the line across the page. Then you have the list, which it's either a dotted list or a regular one. Rich text block, that's just going to be where you write your article for the most part. Your table, the quote, so I could either quote someone or testimony, use their image if I want to, and then there's our video right there. So yeah, isn't that nice? So I have another feature that I have here too. I coded in a Discord. And that one is when I publish a page, it will publish it to Discord. Blocks, blueprints, oh wait, no, I'm looking in the complete wrong spot. So yeah, so here's the webhook URL, bot name, avatar, and yeah, it will end up with the webhook URL, and we can actually send that to Discord. So if I update it or post a page, it will show up on Discord, which I think is awesome. So that's kind of currently what I'm working with. I think there's other little styling issues that I still have to deal with, like besides the obvious webpage design, because you know it doesn't have the top banner, it does not have the menu yet. I still have to figure out how Wagtail actually works with that, but once I get it, it will be better. I want to have just like how we have the spot here for Bible verses, I would like to have a spot here for, I can't add a Bible verse because we have all of them imported. I'd like to have a Mandela effect one where I can have Mandela effect category. I think it would have to be just tag based, so I could put tags. So I would tag it movie, Star Wars, then topic. Yeah, so that will be interesting. And that one will also go in under snippets there. and then I could probably reference it just the same way without having to repeat it in like blog posts. That will be awesome, I think. Like in the panel, so we need our logo instead of the default wagtail one. My user account is that. Pages right now it's just showing home, so you can make child pages, which is other pages that are based off. Child pages are pages that are branched off of the main theme. So like if I make a About Us page or the other ones that are associated with the Supernatural Bible changes, like this one would be a child page of it. This one would be a child page. Not this one, because I'm gonna have to make a completely different template. This one would be a child page. So yeah, that's but so yeah, it's a long work in progress. So kind of tired. I probably spent half the night working on that, getting blocks and stuff to work there. Right now, the templates are it's not universal. It only works on the home and child pages of the home. So when I go to make the blog, so obviously I already made the blocks for it so that I can easily edit the pages and other stuff by just moving them over. But I'm going to have to make those universal to work with both the home pages and the blog. It's not going to be too difficult, I think, but it's going to be fun. Coffee. I guess part of it's just planning. Then everything like this, most of the time, when you want to do something, you don't really get much help. What is going? I think one of the things we have to plan out now too is that quiz. One thing that always bothered me is that we started out using for a Bible quiz. We started out using a WordPress quiz plugin. So that one actually didn't take that long to break, and then we switched over to a different it was an older HTML JavaScript quiz that I had to hard code. program, and that one lasted a few years until that one eventually broke, because I guess with updates with JavaScript and how things work, eventually it kind of bugged out. Because that that one actually still had code in it based off of Internet Explorer, and you know, it's like how many computers use Internet Explorer anymore? Everyone's either on you know, Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome or Firefox. So then I found an open source quiz app. That one I don't think you needed to hard code that one, but it also has the code, you know, they obviously update it with it being updated, with it being open source. What kind of makes it viable for the developers is they also have a you know, paid solutions for hosting it online, because you know, that gets you everywhere, because you have to pay for hosting online eventually just about everywhere. So I moved that over. We should probably see if let's see, Django packages. We're just gonna look here. There. Django quiz app. See what this. So this one. I don't like that. That is already awful. So there's the quiz app. Okay, so this one. Django. We already don't have a CK editor, so we're already it's already buggy in the fact that we can't do that. Python 3. What does the README have in it? It said no on it, but that already uses Python 3 right there. So someone's lying with that. Python 3. Why is that? Okay, so think wagtail, CMS extensions, maybe that's what it packages. Google, WAG, CMS, quiz. What we're gonna end up needing is what? Maybe we can figure out let me figure this out. We're gonna copy. Can you tell what code this quiz is using to run? Because I forget. I know it's open source, but I forget. Because eventually that's what do I? Oh, I was wondering what I had. I had one of those socket adapters. I don't think I had a socket adapter in my pocket, and I was like, "What is that?" That was to for my impact going down to a smaller socket size. Based on the technical structure, it is running on working on WordPress using a specialized quiz plugin, or a dedicated no-code quiz platform. Oh my goodness! So no, we weren't using WordPress, and it wasn't a no-code because we actually had to hard-code the quiz ourselves. I forgot what code base it was on though. That's the problem. So how hard would it be to make a multi-page quiz where it's one question per page, clicking on clicking on next to go to the next page, question with 10 questions total, a little bit of that so it feels smooth since your memory is sitting at, yeah, it's pretty sweet there, pretty swank, pretty snazzy. multi-page logic. CSS to hide all the questions except the active one. This keeps the user on the same URL, so it's lightning fast. Registering in models.py. No. Stupid. No, we'd have to structure it separately in project wagtail quiz instead of home, so the code doesn't conflict. Yeah, our code's already a monolith as far as being BK signals. You know, sick. Is this avatar? Okay, yeah, that's dealing with our webhook. So we can RM BK thing. We don't need that. RM BK. We don't need that either because I actually got that to work. So our models, as far as being a large amount of text, this right here is all of our blocks. I need to squash that so that I can do one import. That's also, once I get that down there, I can actually use the reference code of the block when we go to make our blog. So we'll use the same import after that. This one's for our webhook, and then here's again where we're making calls for each block. It also is like so the top one is for our editor for the blueprints for how it's assembled and how we work with it in the back end, like the editor. The class right there, the body and all that right there, that is more I think, at least that my assumption is it loads the HTML for how it's displayed on the front end. So when you see the final product of, the final version of how it turns out after you edit the block for the post, this determines what the person sees. I'm still not happy with it though, because let me get out of that, because right now our templates for the home page, templates, home, there's our home page, there's the default welcome page, which I have not deleted, only because I'm using it as an example page right now. It doesn't make logical sense to me because the template should not be located here. There's a central app, my site, which has so here's the settings right here. Most base, use wagtail Your settings for it is going to be in base.py. Static is where our UI kit CSS files are going to go, because the default one is using they don't have any CSS in there, do they? You know, my site, yeah, they don't have anything there either. We don't. So we're gonna put our UI kit stuff right there. With it being a central location, there's also our templates right there. There's templates. So the base is basically the layout of the website. Before the so here's if you've ever used HTML before, here's the top of the page where doc type HTML. Here's the stuff with the SEO, title, so here's where it's loading remember the static folder? Here's the static variable there with the twig, with the CSS folder, and my site has nothing in it, but it's global, which means it should work anywhere. But so our blog, here's our JavaScript where the JavaScript. If you've ever used Bootstrap CSS or UIKit, it generally goes before the end of the body tag right here. But there's the footer. I don't know how this is gonna work because there's a footer tag. I think most of the time I put the JavaScript right before that, like right before the end of right before the very end. I'm gonna have to double check example of how they use that in UIKit. It's been a while since I've done a template from that one. So we're gonna have to load that to make sure. Okay, so we go down here. See this with the text here. This is all part of our footer with this stuff, and then this. That's a footer. It loads with every single page. So generally with HTML, it has the header, the head section, the body. Sometimes there's a main tag or article tag or something for where the content's located within the body. This spot right here, that is where it loads in our home. That's where our home template is used for that, in whatever child pages that we're going to add with it. That is it. It's in between the blog content. So yeah, we gotta figure that out. But with that being said, with the templates, so from right there, I would make a new folder within templates here, and I would have home there for the home child So I stood up and I stood up to walk around, and it's like okay, so yeah, the home folder would go into the templates, and then the blog template would go into the blog folder. So that would put all my templates in one place right there, which you can already see I started doing the same thing with the blocks, because I didn't want to put the blocks. I didn't want to put the blocks for building the pages into home if I was already going to use it in the blog. So yeah, there's the block. And if you go into the block, you have our blueprints and then our template. And so like I said, the blueprints are how they are set up to be edited in the back end there. So for like the UI and the editor, this is how it loads. It does that, and then like so right here, it's showing the template. And then when I go to the template section of it, here's the HTML currently of. Now this is more of a, I guess, more of a concept rather than a completely finished product, because the audio right there is going to be based on UIKit, CSS. So all these are going to have to be edited. So yeah, what do you think? I think, well, it's obvious. I know I somewhat have an idea of what I'm doing. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to go about it. Not fully, but at least that's the plan right now. Because you always have to have some sort of plan. It's, if you don't get anywhere with it. But also, if you don't try things out, you don't get anywhere. I did the tutorial for Wagtail CMS twice before I got to this point, because the first time I followed the video of that one lady that wanted to make first the basic page, and then going to the blog section, and then it's like, well, it did not completely fit with what I wanted with the whole blocks idea. So eventually I just saved the finished as like I think I saved it as Wagtail example of how she did it. I didn't even finish it, because a lot of the stuff that she was gonna have afterwards was more based on styling, and it kind of irked me a little bit, because she put a like a gallery section, and it's hard coded at the bottom of the page. And with blocks, you don't have to hard code it. If you don't use it, you just don't put the block in there. And I'm not going to have a gallery of images for every single page. It's just not. Sometimes I might have a few images based off of a topic. So, that's why people like the block style editor, or the one where you choose the content you put in, because there's never gonna fully be a one fit all solution. That's why the block way of doing it kind of helps. There's only so much I can code, so that's also a factor. But yeah, anyways, so the second time I did the standard tutorial on how they did pages, on how the main website did the pages, and then I saw something with that on how they loaded pages, and that kind of made things click on getting the blocks to work. And then I was like, okay, let me just stop this. So I put that one in another backup folder, and the current version, that's just me. I got it enough to where the page loaded okay, and then I started one block and then another block, and the main thing was getting all the blocks that I used in the other editor, but based on the theme, you can't if you have content that you paid for, like even like a template, you don't want to copy a paid theme, especially if you're going over to a free one that if you're going to an open source CMS that's not paid, and if I eventually wanted to share the work or the source code, you can't have code copied over from a paid theme. So so the way the code functions similar. It's not the exact same. I mean it's not completely the same anyways, because it doesn't have like Vue. I think it's Vibecode in it. This is strictly, it's like a Python. It's a Python based project instead. So it's not going to share code regardless, but I didn't want that in there. So eventually, like the blueprints, templates, HTML, I'm going to be able to share on GitHub, and then anyone who wants to make like a variation can use that as like an example of how I gotten this far as far as blueprints, templates, the script I used to import the Bible. Not that I think anyone else is going to want to go to the same extent or do the same thing for this, because generally in cases like this, people are lazy, or if not lazy, then it's just easier to do a free website for like either Blogger or just sharing stuff on Facebook. I don't know why I'm the way I am, why I have to have things like that. It kind of reminds me of like the old, way back, the old, like the MySpace days where you could edit the like the theme, put your own images and other stuff, but that was years ago. So yeah, that kind of dates me a bit. In my defense, I think I was when I started using MySpace, it was on the tail end of it, leading into Facebook, so I didn't use it hardly much before everyone switched over to Facebook, and then MySpace kind of died off to where it's just mainly for, I think these days MySpace is just for like artists. Because I did check back in it. It's mainly for artists and advertisements and other. It's become awful. It's just as generic, I think, now as Facebook is. They don't give you the same stuff. I think that's kind of what I liked about having your own website, because it lets you have the freedom to do things your way. And you just don't get that with public facing websites where they gotta watch out for code injection or anything like third parties being malicious. Where am I at? What was I? Okay, so I got the template idea. Explained what I did. I'm getting tired already. I need a nap. I really need a nap. I don't know. Maybe figuring out the Bible quiz is going to be the next step. Because that was what I wanted to do for the longest time with Kirby CMS. Is like I said, it's an open source quiz app that. If you look at the quiz, it's not really built into the actual website, not properly. It's still based in HTML with the edits and everything. I wanted to figure out a way to actually just use a JavaScript file for the quiz and then build the quiz portion like with the questions and all answers, and Kirby CMS with using their variables and stuff. But for some reason, I think I couldn't get it to interface properly, and eventually I gave up. I have an idea that we're going to have a much better positive result with this one. I think another aspect too is that I can make a different plugin. Like, you know how sometimes when you want to talk to someone about the changes or anything with like a contact us with your information, I think I can just use a webhook to send the data, or at least that's the idea. Be better send the data. That although I would have to I'll look in the specifics later about sending it over HTTPS so it's secure. But basically, you can send your details and, need someone to talk to about like the Bible changes, because who around us actually, will believe us about the Bible actually changing, not just digitally, but your own Bibles, or, with all the Mandela effects with the changes and everything else, who wants to talk about it? But, I mean, that's another reason why we have, even though not many people are using it at this point, why we have a Discord with people you know, other people that see the bubble changes and stuff, it's somewhere where we can talk about it. And you know, it's we're kind of looking at the same stuff, probably since we woke up to the changes. Some people between 2015, 2016, some people 2018, and there's still people that are noticing that it's changing. But you know, one is getting into contact with people that see that weird things are happening. The other one is finding community or anything. And I think multiple people have tried making a community. I think that because it's either because I know EYA has her channel and she has her blog. I don't know if she still has her her other group or not. That's been a while. Then there is Jesus Freak. Jesus Freak Computer Geek. He sees the changes, but some of the stuff I don't necessarily agree with everything he says, but he says he sees the changes too. But I don't know what his current stance are on Indays, and I'm not sure he's as active as he once was. Which I think he says some of the Hebrew stuff, and to me I think it's kind of weird though, because at least from what I was taught, Jesus spoke Aramaic and Hebrew. At least from my point of history, at least from what I learned, Hebrew was like a dead language at that point. So I mean, if no one spoke it, then why is everyone trying to use like the Hebrew name of Jesus? Because that wasn't a thing. It would have been in Aramaic or was it Koine Greek? Yeah, that's a separate issue altogether. Then there is what's his name? Wake Up or Else. He does a lot of debates, I think. Or he wants to debate or do stuff. I'm not trying to debate people. I'm not trying to argue for or against. I'm basically telling what I see or what I remember, and we can have a discussion about it. But it's not a debate. I'm not going to. I'm not gonna try to look for example after example of why I'm right and why you're wrong. I don't have time for it. I can explain what I see, and you either see it or you don't. I don't know. It's just sometimes I think that's how it works. Because what else can you do? Am I gonna make like a 5-video series where I'm arguing different points or things that? Because part of that, I think, is presentation. You have to put all that stuff together, and maybe it's just that I'm just all over the place on things. I don't have all my information organized like that. And I don't know. I'm a very disorganized person. I guess it's a bit chaotic that way, I guess. Who knows? But yeah, I guess it is what it is. Just eventually need to also update the stuff with other pages. Oh, the Facebook page, the defunct Reddit area that I don't think we're even using. but the website is in Python, so I can potentially interface with it with our Discord bot, which is also in Python, or for example, something happens with Discord, whatever bot I use for another chat application, as long as I use Python, I can still interface with the website, and we're still golden. Yeah, I don't want to deal with another. I want to deal with as few issues as possible, and I don't know. It's like, at least with the current CMS, it seems like once I figured out a few things, it's like everything's more or less clicked, or I understand it better than I did the other ones. I think I just like Python. Maybe that's it. I actually did try using a variation based off of Golang, which is what one of the other administrators of our server, he uses Go, but I don't know, I didn't understand it that well, but that's just me. It's one of my many shortcomings, I guess. I tried Ruby. This is another programming language. It's supposed to be efficient. In some ways I liked it, but in other ways, Ruby is one of those less used platforms where you're going to run into issues where it's not going to have either extensions you need, or you're going to have to figure out how to hard code a lot more of the stuff, because it's not going to have everything that you need available. So that's I mean, since I had already been learning with blocks, as far as working with a Discord bot, that kind of helped me understand Python a little bit more. Like Ruby, I think I'm more, even more of a novice than I am with everything else. I think Perl's about dead as a language. It's not actively used by, at least in comparison to other languages. There's Lua, but I think that one's more. That one's not. It's not something you host a website with. Oh, but yeah, I think that's the state of everything. We got somewhat an idea of where I'm headed. I think main thing is either getting the theme portion work, at least finished up, but just to get it to where the menu going from between pages with the styling, and getting the styling fixed for the blocks, and then manually importing and editing any blog post to the newer videos section and other stuff here. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I think I've been talking to myself. I don't know if anyone had said anything, but I'll probably check here for a second before I get off here. I need to take a nap. I've hardly gotten any sleep. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's just me. So. Okay, I'm gonna get off here. I need to check out, research what I'm doing next, and then get that implemented, and then I'll come back and we'll see where we're at then. So this is Drackmas signing off. Take care, everyone.